Hi, my name is Syed Mustafa Mohsin. I'm a representational painter based in Lahore. For the last 4 years, I was studying in a Russian art academy in Florence, Italy. Something that I really appreciated about the Russian culture and studying in a Russian academy was their work ethic. They take whatever they do very seriously, and especially they have a lot of respect for the arts, be that ballet, music, painting. It's something that they really encourage their youth to go towards and start developing them from a very early age so they can be the best at whatever they choose to be. So growing up, I always had a knack for art as far back as I can remember. From a very early age, I started working as a cake artist for my mother's bakery. There used to be a lot of orders for customized cakes, and naturally, having the talent and the skill for it, I incorporated my skill into my mom's baking business. Going on from there, my art kept developing on cakes, but I didn't want to be an artist professionally. I would always enjoy painting, but I wanted to keep it for myself, not having the pressure on my art, not having market pressures change the way I paint to satisfy other people. So because of that, I chose to go to LSE, Lahore School of Economics, and pursue my bachelor's in business administration, while simultaneously working on developing a skill-based approach to learning art. In 2017, I was extremely fortunate to find myself in a Russian art academy in Italy. I chose this place because of their approach towards teaching. They had a very knowledge-based approach on learning, on how to learn to draw and paint by learning about anatomy, learning about light, learning about how the world works around us in order to be able to paint or represent it. So in art over here, I feel like there's this method of forced conceptualization. When a student graduates from school and goes straight into an art college, they're not really taught the skills anymore. They're only briefed about them and they're forced into conceptualization. Something not that I'm not against, but I feel like as a 19-year-old who hasn't seen life, who hasn't experienced their own experiences, you're put into the spot to, become a philosopher rather than a painter or a draftsman. So representational art is representing the world around us and working from life, not working from photographs. There's a huge difference when it comes to working from a photograph and working from life or observation. An example I can give is that if you have 10 equally skilled artists and you give all 10 of them a photograph to draw from, the result will be the same across the board. But if you put a life model in front of all 10 artists and tell them to draw or paint what they see, every painting will be distinct to that person's taste and their style. So that's something that doesn't exist anymore, and it's not taught anymore, which caused me to seek it in other places. One thing my professor told me very early on was that if you're awake and you're not painting, drawing, sketching, or thinking about any of these things, you're wasting time. But that's just the Russian work ethic. It's that if you find something you love, you just let it drive you. So growing up, I always wanted to learn how to draw and paint like the old masters, works that I saw in history books, and I wouldn't find those around me. And in my search on wanting to know how to learn them, I found these ateliers, these places that still follow that tradition on how they used to teach and pass it from generation to generation. Now, why the Russian academic art, you ask? It's because after the Second World War and the Cold War, the West wanted their own form of art. So they came up with contemporary art, which express their values of freedom and being able to do anything. And because of that, the Russians, they rejected everything that was Americanized. So they did not adapt contemporary art, but stayed true to the values that were taught for 400 years. So they never lost those skills and techniques that were passed down to them by their old masters, while the rest of the world forgot how to paint and draw. So what really fascinated me was their teaching methodology, and that's also something that I wanted to learn. So I also pursued studying pedagogics, which is the science of passing knowledge to the next generation. And my professors were huge inspirations for this. Like, what I want to be is a good teacher like them. And the way that they taught was that they wouldn't teach a collective, they would teach you individually. They would see your strengths and weaknesses and formulate how to teach you depending on those. But there was also a very knowledge-based approach to teaching. It wasn't something that was abstract. So, if you want to learn how to draw a figure, you need to learn the anatomy. You need to understand how light works on the form. And it was studying art like a science. If there's any piece of advice that I'd like to give to an aspiring artist is to firstly trust themselves. Don't fall for what's in the market or what's popular right now. Do it because you enjoy doing it. Enjoy the process, enjoy every bit of it, and make what you want to make. Make what brings your voice in the most truthful manner forward.